PTFS's largest update has finally released. After 3 months in activity, we're going to go ahead and look at every single feature that has been added in this update of Pilot Train Flight Simulator. Let's go ahead and hop right in. Now, if format as favorite, please subscribe for daily aviation content every single day. Would highly appreciate it. Only a small percentage of you are actually subscribed. So if you are new here, please consider subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications and never miss an upload. Also got a video. So we get to Merry Christmas. Otherwise, sit back, relax. Let's go ahead and look at every single feature that has been added to PTFS in this update. With PTFS reaching 100 million visits, all game passes will be on sale until October 4th. As you can see, look at all these game passes, a 25% sale. So if you do want a game pass and you don't have it, this is a great time to get it. Server capacity has increased to 20 people. Sweet indeed, and great for a lot of good stuff. Control support has been temporarily disabled because Sam forgot to unplug it. It's gonna come out very soon though, so if you do use a controller, if anyone does, it'll come very soon with a brand new plane kit, which we'll get to that in just a minute. New internal code was also introduced. This code will help release updates much quicker and much better. The server options menu has also been revamped. If you go ahead and come over here and look at server options, as you can see, you have wind, time, and fog. With the wind, you can be a bit more precise, or you can slide it up right there. Same with the strength. Same with the day and night, you can go ahead and go as fast as possible. If you want to be very precise, you can see I'm going very well. PTFS also added a brand new skybox. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. Ooh. PTFS also added dynamic lighting, like street lamps. City skylines have windows lighting up, and airport floodlights. They also added new landing lights for several airports, one of which is of course Greater Rockford. Look at this, it's actually pretty cool. They also added airport roads. As you can see, roleplay, if you want to do some roleplay with these vehicles, you have some roads to show. This is a great way to show that your friends do not deserve a driver's license, but also it's awesome for roleplaying, great for airlines. I should not be having a driver's license, but this is really cool. So at select airports, including Greater Rockford. They also added brand new 3D cockpits to the Concorde, MD-11, MD-90, and the Havilland 6 Twin Otter, both in amphibious and regular. They also added a brand new badge to the game. It's called Help Me. Help, I need somebody, yeah, I'm gonna get copyright strike. You spawn at Skepos Airfield and spawn any aircraft you want. I suggest a helicopter because why the heck not? Now follow this time lapse on screen. To this set of rocks right over here, there's this little cave that come right here, and it says right here on the thing, sus. And there's some steps right here, and as you can see, we got red among us with the sus, and unfortunately, orange. You know, everything's fine, right? And they also added a server 8 here in the left corner. I know you fellas are not here for the whole miscellaneous thing. Why would they take 3 months to take all of that? They have added brand new plane mechanics that have greatly revamped, that's right, revamped the entire plane kit of PTFS. I'm really shocked at how great the whole revitalization is, so let me go ahead and show you right now. Let's first start from the passenger side of view. So if we go ahead and sit down right here, it's so much quicker than the previous system. If you're also a passenger, you get better camera views. Look at this. If you right now right click on your mouse, you have better camera views. Look at this, boy. Woo! I really doubt you really care about the passenger side. Let's go ahead and get right into the cockpit and right into the A320. As you can see down below, there is no plane tool. They completely changed it. It's completely gone. So now, once you sit in the seat, you get straightly to the GUI. Now, if you go to the options tool right on here in the menu, there's 2 new settings, infinite fuel and hold space to exit. Infinite fuel is exactly what you think it is. You can have infinite fuel for entire flight, and you can grind overnight for flight minutes. Really cool indeed. But the hold space to exit, and if you enable it, let me go ahead and show you quickly. You'll only have to press the spacebar to get out. As you can see, I'm clicking spacebar, you can't get out. But now, if you hold spacebar, as you can see, you can now jump out. We revamped the aircraft control tab. As you can see, it's much bigger. There's some other, stuff that they also added, which we'll get to that in just a minute. But let's continue with the rest of the stuff. Alright, let's go ahead and turn on these engines. And if we go ahead and start moving, as you can see, at 2 knots, you're not moving. Let's say if we speed up to like 16 knots. It's more proportional to what the throttle is. Usually if you're at 16 speed, you're already at like 60 knots. Now you're on 14 knots and it's great for precise taxiing. Now before we actually take off, as you can see, same with the passenger seating system in a brand new revamp. As you can see, it's the same thing with the cockpit. You can change left to right if you're holding right click, and of course if you let go, it automatically snaps. You want to rotate. Also with this new camera view, as you can see right here, you can go up and down with your right click, and of course it snaps left to right. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Let's go and run rotate, and it's so smooth. Woohoo! Gear up. And we're right now out of Perth. While we're actually doing that, there's several things we're gonna have to do here in the skies. Or the friendly skies, so we're flying United, obviously. Now, advanced mode here on the aircraft is so much different. Let's go ahead and press Z for a second, and it seems the same. But, if you press X, it's cam locked. And as you can see, if we go ahead and rotate and do a little bit of barrel roll, as you can see, the aircraft camera is actually synced to the aircraft's position. If I were to like release it after, like as you can see, it goes back to this. If you're only in advanced mode, you can also have access to rudder. A to move left, D to move right. Pretty cool indeed. Was that? I'm done. So if you go ahead and cruise, and let's go ahead and jump off for a second. You can see that you can actually jump out of the aircraft right now. As you can see, we're at cruise and you can finally jump around, have fun, and it's so much cool. And when you're cruising, you don't have to die. Also, if you do jump out, the pilot seat is locked. So if we go ahead and jump right out back here, as you can see, the plane is locked, so nobody, like the passenger, and once you jump out, can get back in and sabotage your plane. Let's go ahead and stop the cruising and start going towards Greater Rockford. And while we're actually talking about, there's also one more thing I want to talk about. Let's say we have a 2011 Mac and a really good 2018 Windows computer. Obviously, the Mac is garbage at gaming. The Windows computer is obviously great at gaming. We all know that. So obviously, if you're doing, like, let's say, for example, a display team, if you have one person on a Mac and one person on a Windows computer, as you can see, it ain't gonna go well. Because the Mac is running slower, and obviously, the whole display team is absolutely a disaster. Auto speed is actually matched up and actually syncs together. So the Mac actually has the same speed and the actual same stuff as the good Windows computer. Or aircraft down. Why, you might ask? We're gonna test out the new stalling mechanics. And as you can see, you can hear these sounds. There's different sounds for Boeing, there's a different sounds for Airbus, there's different sounds for the Concorde, the Bombardier series, and of course, the Embraer. So, there are different sounds. It's just very annoying to talk about. Let me mute that for a second. But yeah, there's different sounds for different types of aircraft for stalling. And of course, you can see, instead of falling out of the sky completely, there's much better stall mechanics. And that's really cool because, let's face it, I really didn't like the stall mechanics. It's just so unrealistic. The city lights look absolutely beautiful. You can kind of see them. It just feels majestic. Now, before we actually land and do some little bit of buttering, I gotta go ahead and ram this plane into a building. Sorry, Airbase Gary. You're gonna get hit with this plane. We're gonna ram it, and as you can see, it doesn't do much, except get stuck between things. As you can see, that's very unrealistic, but instead of whole glitching and all that stuff, it just, doesn't do anything, which is absolutely phenomenal. And yes, it might be unrealistic, but it's more convenient for the player. Now let me go ahead and slow our aircraft just a bit. So what we're going to do here is try something called land speed. Now land speed is going to help with landing and for stalling. Obviously, do not do whatever I did. But as you can see, land speed actually helps with your landing. As you know, when you're very, very flary and start to land, you start to stall your front gear. Now, this land speed will help resolve the issue. Oh God, we're way too low. God, here we go. Retard and smooth. Very, very nice. It's a bit hard. That's not supposed to happen, but you get the point with this whole landing stuff, and it just helps with your landings much better and prevents whatever the heck they're gonna do when you stall your front gear. That's disgusting. There's one more thing we're gonna talk about with the new plane mechanics, but before we actually get that, let's go ahead and check out the other things to note. And it will involve the beautiful Hawker Harrier. So what's different about the VTOL? Now VTOL has been absolutely separated, and now there's a VTOL meter on the engines, and the controls are R and F. R for up, F for down. As you can see, it goes up, and as you can see, you can start to levitate. You can go control that from F and stuff like that. It's simple. So with this new VTOL meter, if I were to press R and just around maybe like 27 knots, as you can see, we're gonna start landing right here. And as you can see, you can make a short landing. Like, maybe if you want to land at like Saba, if it ever added, you can have a very short landing with this bad boy. Now to everyone's favorite thing in PTFS, the helicopters. For the planes are go right here. If you go ahead and jump in, there's no more helicopter tool. I believe the helicopter got a little bit of an upgrade with the controls. For more of a realism, I know the plane kit still sucks, but the realism is pretty cool, as you can see right there. To spin forward, if I go a bit forward, let's go ahead and do this. As you can see, the rotors start to spin much more quickly. The same thing goes for prop aircraft. Here's a Cessna 172, and if I were to go full speed, and if I turn around, there's a bit of a blur there. Really cool indeed. Now, let's get to the biggest part of the update. Now you can pass control to your co-pilot, and co-pilots have way more stuff to do. Let's go and get that right now. So now we're here in the cockpit seat with my good friend Stitchy Boy. Now he's the pilot, and as you can see, as the co-pilot, you can now see what the aircraft settings are. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell him to press limited control. As you see, he gave me limited controls. As you can see with the controls, I can now control flaps and gear. Now he has given me full control, and if I go ahead and stop the hold, I believe, yes, I can control the stuff. I can go, look at this, bam, look at that boy, woohoo, yeah. Now I absolutely sabotaged him, but before we actually die, well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider subscribing. It helps me a lot, and on-screen videos will appear on your screen, on the end screen. But guys, thanks for watching, Zourchip, and as always, take flight. Alright, we're done. We're dusted. See you later, folks. Whoa, and we died.